Namaste. This is David Hawthorne at astroview.com. Today is the 5th of May, 2015. The following is the Vedic astrology reading for Princess Charlotte of Cambridge, based on the 2nd of May, 2015, at 8:34 a.m. in London. Now, using Vedic astrology from India and the sidereal zodiac, which is 23 degrees earlier than the tropical zodiac used by Western astrologers, then we see that in the first house, we have the third sign of the zodiac ascending or rising at 11 degrees 31 minutes of Gemini. So this is Gemini rising sign. And we read the chart from the ascendant or rising sign because this changes about every 2 hours of the day. So it's much more specific to the individual and the exact time of birth. This degree changes every 4 minutes. So this is also important to know the ascendant degree in any chart. But this is the person's name, fame, health, appearance, reputation, and longevity. Sun is known as Atmakaraka, so it's the significator for the soul. And moon is our emotional state and what's on the mind and how we comprehend and how we emotionally connect with others. So Gemini is an air sign. There are only 3 air signs, Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. And only Gemini is ruled by Mercury. Gemini is symbolized as the twins, male, female, 2-in-1 wholeness. So these are very independent people, and they can be quite successful. Bill Gates from Microsoft is a Gemini, and Professor V.K. Chaudhry of India, who's one of the world's leading professors of Vedic astrology, has written 12 books and trained over 800 Vedic astrologers worldwide, is also a Gemini. So this is a good rising sign to have. But Geminis need to be aware that they do have that duality, that male-female 2-in-1 wholeness. So any Gemini person should just witness their behavior, because one twin is very social, gregarious, outgoing, helpful. The other one, not so much. So if we just pay attention, we just witness ourselves, and we see that we're not in our best mood, then we can excuse ourselves and go off and listen to some music or go for a walk in the park or something. But it's a very good rising sign, and she will have a large circle of friends. In fact, in this case, she's going to have some very royal friends. That's Sun in the house of friends and income, and older siblings. Look at this. Sun is in the house. Sun is a royal planet. It's in the 11th house of Aries. This is the house of older siblings. So she has a royal older brother who can be the king. Sun is the planet representing the king in leadership, government, politics. Mars is also sitting in the 11th house, so he can be very courageous and be involved in the military as well. He'll have some executive skills, executive organizing skills. In the second house, we have the 4th sign of the zodiac, Cancer, and this is Jupiter exalted in the sign of Cancer. This is very good for having wisdom, knowledge, morality, divine grace. And because Jupiter rules the 7th house of Sagittarius, she will marry very well. There'll be some wealth and status connected with her husband. This is also good for wealth and status connected with partnerships, joint ventures, and foreign lands. Jupiter in the 2nd house is that Princess Charlotte will be very good at teaching. She will be a very good consultant, advisor, religious leader, educator. So this is very good. This is an exalted Jupiter, basically divine grace in the house of wealth, status, and continuation of family life. 3rd house, we have the 5th sign, Leo, ruled by the royal Sun. And Sun has gone into the house of gains, income, friendships, and older siblings. So royal friends, friendships connected with government position, and this royal older brother. 4th house, we have the 6th sign, Virgo, and we have Rahu, R-A-H-U, the northern node of the moon, and moon itself in the same sign of Virgo. Now, if planets are not within 5 degrees of each other, there's no impact. So Rahu is not bothering this moon. Ketu, the southern node of the moon, Ketu, opposite, also aspects over here, but it's not directly bothering the moon. So we would say moon is fine here. It's a little bit in old age, it's past 25 degrees. So Princess Charlotte can wear white clothing and pearls to strengthen the moon. Now, if moon was down here in Libra, it would be exactly opposite sun, and that would be the full moon. So this shows that she was born 2 days before the full moon. So that means moon is quite bright. So she will be very well suited for emotionally connecting with the public. Moon is a royal planet, and it's in the 4th house of parents. So it gives her royal parents. Moon in Virgo would make her very perceptive, intellectual, analytical, communicative, physically sensitive, and emotionally sensitive. But she will be quite earthy and practical with her emotional life as well. But it's very good to have a royal moon in the house of parents and happiness in home life. And it rules the house of wealth, status, and continuation of family life. In the 5th house, we have the 7th sign Libra. So Venus rules children and education. And Venus is placed in the 12th house of foreign lands. So she may travel abroad for some education. Now, my concern is that this is the 12th house of losses, expenses, and separation, and institutional life. So this is considered a weak Venus, plus it's past 25 degrees. There's only 30 degrees possible in a sign. So this is considered Venus to be old age and weak. So this is a badly placed Venus, and it's an old age. So this can deny children, limit the number of children, or cause loss of child or separation from a child. So let's hope it's just traveling. The child travels abroad for education. I would recommend that Princess Charlotte does not take white sugar products because a weak Venus can cause trouble with the kidneys, the pancreas, and the reproductive organs. She can wear a single large diamond gemstone to strengthen the Venus. So she can wear that on the ring finger of the right hand. Back of the stone should touch the skin, or she can wear the diamond as a pendant. We want to strengthen this Venus. In the 6th house, we have the 8th sign Scorpio. This is Saturn retrograde at 9 degrees 3 minutes. Retrograde planets at the time of birth are not important. I mean, it's not significant. So no problem, a planet being retrograde. But this is the 6th house. This is an inauspicious house. The 6th house, the 8th house, and the 12th house in any chart are called Dustan Bhavas, inauspicious houses. Planets going into the 6th house, the 8th house, or the 12th house become weak. If they are functional benefic planets, then they require strengthening measures. So I would strengthen the Saturn by wearing a blue sapphire gemstone on the middle finger of the left hand. Back of the stone should touch the skin. Or she can wear a blue sapphire as a pendant, as a necklace. Saturn in this 6th house can cause some weakness of the teeth, neck, back, spine, knees, joints, and ankles. And because Saturn rules this 9th house of Aquarius, which is the house of father, it says her father may be vulnerable to some health issues, legal issues, or financial tension. So I don't think he has to worry so much about finances or legal situation, but maybe some health issues for father. So if Princess Charlotte strengthens Saturn, it will help support her father. Sometimes when Saturn is weak, the person has worries and fears, impatience, and distrust of other people. In the 7th house, we have the 9th sign Sagittarius. So Jupiter rules relationships, partnerships, joint ventures, and marriage, and comforts living abroad. And it's exalted and well placed and ruled by the royal moon. Now, moon is in Virgo, so this is what gives her a lot of intellectual property, perception, communications, analytical problem-solving capabilities. But moon is in Virgo. So that means moon is codependent on its dispositor, its landlord, which happens to be Mercury. And Mercury also is in the 12th house, where it also becomes weak. So it's going to be important for Princess Charlotte to strengthen Mercury by wearing an emerald gemstone and using a lot of emerald green plants and colors in her life. Let's strengthen Mercury. That will help protect her parents. So there's some connection here with parents and foreign lands or separations. Maybe she goes to boarding school, who knows? But this is not easy. This can cause some skin eruptions, nervous tension, miscommunications, trouble with the respiratory canal, asthma, allergy, sinus, headaches, bronchitis. Now, it doesn't matter what we find in a chart. Nobody has a perfect chart. Even royal persons don't have perfect charts. What matters is whether we fix what we find. If we do the twofold planetary astral remedial measures for a chart, we can have much smoother sailing with our lives. So we strengthen the favorable planets, and then we have to do charities for planets causing adverse effects. And we can also listen to spiritual chants and participate in spiritual practices for propitiating those planets causing adverse effects. If we do the twofold remedies, then when the sun Chitta Karma manifests from the past lifetime, it's no longer overwhelming 80, 90, 100%. It's much more manageable at 30, 20, 10%. So this moon is ruled by Mercury. So we have to strengthen Mercury. That will strengthen moon, and that will support Jupiter. See, Jupiter becomes a little weak because it's codependent on moon, which is codependent on Mercury. So strengthen Mercury first. Emerald gemstone, green plants, green colors. Then she wears white colors and pearls for the moon. Jupiter's exalted, and if we fix these two, we don't have to worry about fixing Jupiter. Yellow sapphire is safe and favorable, but not as necessary as the emerald and the diamond. These are the first two that I would wear, the emerald and the diamond, and then the pearl. 8th house, we have the 10th sign Capricorn. 9th house, 11th sign Aquarius, ruled by Saturn. It's in the 6th house. This is the house of father, but it's also the house of religion and gurus, and this is in the house of conflict, so she may not completely buy into the religious establishment. Maybe some conflict with religious education. So again, the blue sapphire will help all around with her father and her religion. We could say that because Saturn rules her dharma, 9th house is dharma, what we came to do this lifetime. And we see it's in the 6th house, which is the house of service to humanity. She could study law, medicine, and finance. Now with Jupiter in the 2nd house, I think she would be very good at studying law. But let's strengthen Saturn to help protect father. 10th house, we have the 12th sign Pisces. And this is K2, Ketu, the southern node of the moon, in the 10th house, which is the house of karma, career, professional life, the field of action. And K2 is known as Moksha Karaka, significator for spirituality. So it would be good for her to connect her career with some spiritual projects, so she can speak on spiritual matters. 11th house, we have the first sign Aries. We have the royal sun and the commander-in-chief Mars, sitting in the house of older siblings, income and friendship. So this gives royal income, income through property. Very good for very strong older brother. We would say that Mars is past 25 degrees, almost 29 degrees, so it is considered old age, so it's okay to strengthen Mars by wearing a red coral gemstone to help protect her older brother and property. And the energy level, this might cause some fatigue, weak Mars. Then we're up to the 12th house of Taurus. Yes, Venus is in its own sign of Taurus. Some astrologers are going to say, oh, you missed that. Well, yes, Venus is in its own sign, but it is the 12th house of Dustan Bhava, and it's an old age. So she does need to wear the diamond gemstone to strengthen Venus. That will help with children, education, kidneys, pancreas, and reproductive organs. And strengthen Mercury to help protect her parents. So these are the main points from the chart. Rahu and Ketu, the north and south nodes of the moon, are within 5 degrees of the ascendant degree. Any planet within 5 degrees of the ascendant degree has some impact in the houses it occupies and aspects. This is known as most effective point. This is not an arbitrary number. It's very specific to the exact time of birth. We see that Saturn, by the way, is close to the rising sign degree. So Saturn's aspect 3 houses away, 7 houses away, and 10 houses away is favorable. But it's just operating out of a weak house, a weak position. So it's not contributing a lot, but it helps. We notice that Saturn and Mercury are within 5 degrees of each other, so they have a mutual influence in each other, which is favorable. So this connects Saturn ruling father and Mercury ruling mother and property. That's a favorable influence in each other. But they both still need to be strengthened because they're both weak. My concern is that Rahu and Ketu at 15 degrees are within about 4 degrees of the ascendant degree. If they were at 11 degrees, it would be 100% impact. So at 12 degrees, it's 80%. At 13 degrees, it's 60%. At 14 degrees, it's 40%. So at 15 degrees, it's 20%. So Rahu and Ketu have a 20% impact where they occupy and where they aspect. So Rahu aspects 5, 7, and 9 houses away, and Ketu aspects 5, 7, and 9 houses away. So technically speaking, Rahu and Ketu have a 20% impact in the 2nd house of wealth, status, and family life, 4th house of parents, 6th house of health and finances, 8th house of obstructions, delays, setbacks, 10th house of professional life, and 12th house of losses and expenses. So it's only 20%, but there's some influence. So maybe when she runs a Rahu subperiod or a Ketu subperiod, there can be some issues from time to time. Or if these planets transit over the ascendant or over one of their other planets, then it can cause some trouble. So we do the remedies for Rahu and Ketu. Everybody should do remedies for Rahu and Ketu, just in general. So for Rahu, we help afflicted persons. So she can donate to charities for cancer, AIDS, Parkinson, Alzheimer's, heart disease, diabetes, obesity. And for Ketu, we help holy man, holy woman, or spiritual organization. It would also be good to listen to some Vedic chants from India, or any spiritual chants that are traditional for her upbringing. But if she was one of my clients from India, I would say that her Ishta Devata, her personal deity, is goddess Lakshmi, so she can listen to Lakshmi chants on Fridays. And to reduce the impact of Rahu and Ketu, she can listen to the chants for Shiva on Mondays would be good. So we just do the twofold remedies for charts. Strengthen the favorable planets and do some charities and propitiation of planets causing adverse effects. Then we have much smoother sailing for the rest of our lives. So I wish Princess Charlotte and her family all the best in health, happiness, peace, prosperity, and longevity. Namaste.